Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper trending on X, published on February 16, 2026, just 2 days ago. It introduces a framework called Beacons that equips neural networks with rigorous mathematical guarantees, allowing them to solve partial differential equations reliably, even in regions far beyond their training data. The paper is titled Beacons, Bounded Error, Algebraically Composable Neural Solvers for Partial Differential Equations. And as we'll see later, the results are really impressive, showing the model tracking complex wave dynamics that completely stump traditional physics-informed networks. To make this work practically, the authors built a complete code generation pipeline, which Figure 1 illustrates. On the left, we see the high-level input written in Racket, where the user defines the physical system, specifically the 1D compressible Euler equations, and sets hyperparameters for the neural network. Then, on the right, the framework automatically compiles this down into optimized C code. This generated code handles the heavy lifting, running a numerical solver to create training data and then training the architecture efficiently. Well, beyond generating simulation code, the framework also mathematically verifies it. Figure 2 shows what these automated proofs look like in practice. On the left, the system verifies the underlying numerical solver, proving flux continuity for the Inviscid-Burgers equation to ensure it respects physical conservation laws. Meanwhile, the right panel focuses on the neural network itself. Here, the system symbolically derives a strict upper bound on the worst-case L-infinity error, guaranteeing that the model's approximations for non-smooth regions never exceed a specific safety threshold. So moving from proofs to practice, Figure 3 demonstrates the framework's performance on a 1D linear advection problem. The plots compare standard neural networks against beacons at 2 time steps. In the right panel at time 0.8, the red and yellow dashed lines for standard networks clearly drift away from the true blue numerical solution, miscalculating the wave speed. In contrast, the purple and green beacons lines track the blue solution nearly perfectly, maintaining the correct shape and avoiding those unstable oscillations. Alright, while the previous plots showed the drift visually, Table 2 quantifies exactly how much physics the models are violating. It lists conservation errors for both standard networks and beacons. Look at the standard 6 and 8 layer networks in the top rows. Adding layers actually makes things worse, with the total error ballooning to over negative 4,300 for the 8 layer model. However, the beacons models in the bottom rows behave much better. The deeper 8 layer version improves upon the shallower one, bringing the total error down to just under 50. So, while the previous table focused on conservation, Table 1 now breaks down the raw accuracy errors using L-infinity and L2 norms. Looking at the standard neural networks in the top 2 rows, performance is shaky. The 8-layer network's final L2 error spikes to over 9, confirming that deeper standard models effectively collapse. In contrast, the bottom 2 rows show that the beacon's architectures maintain much lower, consistent errors. For instance, the 8-layer beacons model keeps the worst-case L-infinity error down around 0.6, nearly halving the baseline error. Okay, moving to a more complex, non-linear system. Figure 5 shows the results for the Inviscid-Burgers equation. This test tracks a top-hat-shaped wave, and by time 0.8 in the right panel, the limitations of standard models become obvious. The red and orange lines, representing standard neural networks, drift significantly to the right, overestimating the shock speed and missing the true physics. Conversely, the green and purple beacons curves overlap the blue numerical solution almost exactly, proving they can handle these difficult discontinuities where traditional deep learning fails. Well, deeper into the physics, Figure 7 tackles the 1D compressible Euler equations, specifically a shock tube problem. The plots display density profiles at time 0.1 on the left and 0.2 on the right. Notice how the standard neural networks, the red and yellow dashed lines, struggle significantly. They diffuse the sharp shock structures and underestimate the speed of the expansion wave. However, the 8-layer beacons architecture, shown in green, captures these features precisely. It tracks the blue numerical baseline almost perfectly, maintaining the correct wave speeds and sharp discontinuities. So, bringing it all together, Beacons effectively proves that neural networks can serve as rigorous, verified numerical solvers. Instead of relying on hope, it uses structural guarantees to keep errors bounded, opening the door for AI in high-stakes physics simulations. That is it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I am Alex. Thanks for listening.